Hi guys, welcome to RAE'S Reactions. So this is my spoiler review video of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So let's start right from the beginning. So the movie picks up where Man of Steel pretty much ended with the fight between Superman and Zod in Metropolis, and Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne is right in the thick of it. Predominantly Wayne Enterprises building, which is where one of the fights is happening, is literally falling to the ground, and Bruce Wayne is trying to get to his employees, his friends, to save them. Obviously, from the destruction of the city and the devastation, he's obviously pissed at Superman, and literally this is pretty much a Batman movie as opposed to a Superman movie, because he's sort of it's Bruce Wayne's vendetta against Superman, as it were, to try and destroy him, and he tries to do that by finding a source of how he can destroy Superman, and coincidentally, Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, has found what appears to be the remnants of kryptonite inside the World Engine from the first film, and having done tests on Zod's body, he knows the reactions that a Kryptonian can have to this kryptonite. So Bruce sets out to steal this kryptonite and use it as a weapon to destroy Superman. Now, as that develops, it gets really confusing, because it's sort of like his main aim to get that, to destroy Superman, but you never see that scene where he actually steals it. That's minute compared to the amount of problems we've got with this film. Let's start off with Ben Affleck anyway. I think he was a good Batman. He was a very good Batman. He was better than some of the other Batmans. I wouldn't say he's better than Michael Keaton. I think he was a definitive Batman from Tim Burton's movie, but this completely changed the concept of Batman entirely. He just doesn't care about anybody in this film at all, apart from himself and Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons, who's actually really, really good as Alfred. And I think they should have given him a bit more screen time, actually, in this film, more than he had. But when I mean say that he doesn't care, he literally goes out of his way to gun people down, and to stab them and beat them half to death, and there's a lot of speculation about this, because it insinuates that in the fight scenes that Batman has with various criminals, henchmen, and during his battles to get to Superman, he uses a lot of violence, and the whole concept of Batman is that he would never cross that line. He would never kill anybody. Now, you don't actually specifically see him kill anybody in this movie. It's right at the last second that, as he shoots someone, as he stabs them, as he punches them, as he kicks them, as he bashes them into the ground, you don't actually see them die, apart from some weird fucked up dream sequence where, for some reason in this movie, Batman is psychic, and he has visions of Darkseid, and what could be considered an alternative or possible future dystopian Earth where Darkseid is taken over with his minions, and Batman's trying to fight off Darkseid's armies, including Superman, who appears to be been taken over. And it's although it's basically a Batman movie, with Superman sort of taking a sidestep, a reference to Henry Cavill's acting in my last review, my non-spoiler review. He doesn't do much in this film. It's very questionable, some of the scenes where he is in the film. He seems so depressed to be in the film. It's almost like he didn't want to be in the film, and they had to force him to actually make this film because they wanted to get a new Batman film out. So yeah, Henry Cavill, he's great as Superman, but this is Ben Affleck's movie. despite all the faults of the Batman character. The action's good. The action's very, very good. You can't really fault it. You know, the fight scenes between Batman and Superman are really, really good. It's not as long as everyone thought it might have been. It could have been a lot longer. But specifically, there's a scene which everyone's talking about, and that's the scene where Batman is pretty much on the verge of killing Superman with the kryptonite he's stolen from Lex Luthor, which he's, you know, managed to craft into a kryptonite spear, and he's about to kill Superman, and Lois Lane suddenly appears, and Clark's like, "No, Martha, save Martha," his mum, who's been kidnapped by Lex Luthor. And from that very scene, for some weird reason, Batman stops and helps Superman and says, "Look, I'll help save your mum. I'll help save her." And when he does save her, which he does, because obviously this is a spoiler review, he's like, "I'm a friend of your son." Well, how the fuck can you be a friend of his son? It's one minute you're killing him, or you're trying to kill him, and then the next minute you're like, "Don't worry, we'll do this together." And it's like, what the? This film is all over the place. It's all over the place. Going back to Jesse Eisenberg as Lex. Okay, there's many Lex Luthors. Okay, you got Gene Hackman, one. You got Kevin Spacey. You got Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, and now you've got Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg's right at the bottom of the list. He tries. He really does try. And I think he comes into the character in his own. Like I said in the previous video, he tries his best to be the Lex Luthor that's been written for him, but it's too weedy. The dialogue is non-consistent. It doesn't give you any indication that half the time he even knows what he's talking about. It's like, you know, using this villain in this film for these characters who he seems to want to kill both, but doesn't give any elaboration as to why he wants to kill them both, and then bring in Doomsday at the end of the film. It's just too confusing. It's like there's so many questions raised from this one film. You would expect them to have at least acknowledged half the things that are questionable from scene to scene. Every moment seems to just be too fleeting and doesn't answer anything. You go from one scene to the next almost simultaneously without them even finishing it. Whoever edited this movie, I don't think has ever edited a film before. And if they have, they're fucking shit. Because Lois Lane, for example, Amy Adams, when she read the script for this film, so, you know, I would have imagined that she would have thought, "Do you know what, I'm doing this for the money," because it doesn't give her any credit in terms of her character development. In Man of Steel, she had so much going for what her character could be in continuous Superman films, but in this one they pretty much use her as the damsel in distress for Superman to save countless times, and that's it. There's no relevance to her character at all, and that's a shame, because she was really good in Man of Steel, as was Henry Cavill, but it's almost like it's like a forced upon movie, and that's a real shame, because it could have been so much more. You know, other supporting characters and actors are really good, and you know, it's nice to get them, you know, into the universe. There was something that was online yesterday that someone mentioned. There's a scene in the desert where Lois Lane is there with other reporters and they're held hostage, and one of the reporters is actually a CIA undercover agent, and he gets shot, basically. He gets killed in order to protect her. But someone's actually mentioned that is Jimmy Olsen. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. Look, if you go and watch this film, you're going to enjoy it because it's Batman v Superman. You're going to enjoy it because of the fight scenes. You're going to enjoy it because of the action scenes. But in terms of character development, in terms of continuity, in terms of answering a million questions, you'll be walking out of the cinema confused. And so much so for the Justice League introductions as well. The Justice League characters are introduced via an email. An email sent from Bruce Wayne to Wonder Woman based on a secret documented file from LexCorp that Lex Luthor has on metahumans, but for some weird reason the videos that he has on the metahumans of the characters Aquaman, Cyborg, The Flash and Wonder Woman, someone's created or someone's put their iconic icons, the Flash icon, the Aquaman icon, the Wonder Woman W's, they've put that on the file in the email. These characters could have been introduced a lot better than this. They could have been introduced very, very slowly. They could have created another movie after this movie, taken out so much of this film, reduced it and made it a little bit more developing, to slowly introduce the characters, not just throw them into the middle of the film in a horrible way. Really, it's in the form of an email that she opens up on her computer, and there they are, and they don't even look very good either. So most of what I've discussed now might seem confusing, but if those that are watching this video have seen the film and you agree with some of the things that I've said, or at least all of the things I've said, or maybe just a couple of the things I've said, I'm sure you'll agree that this film was messy, confusing, it was action packed, and I would imagine they tried to put so much effort into it, but it was difficult, and it must have been very, very hard for them to write a film like this. And I mentioned in my previous video as well about how many scriptwriters they must have had for this film. I don't know how many scriptwriters they had, but it must have been at least a dozen when they were making this film, because it just seems that way, just with the way it's been presented, and that's a shame. But of course the next ones we've got now will be the Wonder Woman movie, the Justice League movie, where they're going to throw all these characters together. There's one spoiler that I haven't mentioned on this spoiler review, and that is the ending of the movie. Basically they've taken that from the comic book, and it's to do with Superman. I don't want to mention it because I'm just going to wind up talking for the next half hour, and I don't think I gain any interest from everyone for that amount of time. I think I've given enough of what my interpretation of the film should have been and what it shouldn't have been. So 7 out of 10 still. I hope that percent doesn't fall to 6.5 or 6 as the days go on, because I'm sure I'll be thinking about the movie even more, and I'm sure I'll be watching even more review videos as will everyone else. But if you're going to go to watch this film, go into it with an open mind and not any negativity that seems to have come across so far. That's very difficult in today's day and age with these comic book adaptations. So try and enjoy it, but it's very difficult to. So thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.